Hi friends! This week's blog post is all about work-life balance. And so it doesn't matter if you're in corporate world, if you're working for yourself, wherever you are in your business life, it is so important to have work-life balance. And so oftentimes we'll talk about it, but I have a little bit of a different spin on it today than I've ever thought about it before. And that is because I had my mind shifted just a little bit, which is what I like about one of the things that I usually don't talk about myself, but random note, I love crime-based podcast. So really different from typically you wouldn't probably think that about my personality, but I do. And the reason that I like them is it takes it so far, it takes me away from my everyday life because luckily I do not live in a crime-based lifestyle. So I'm not surrounded by it all the time, which I feel very blessed for, and hopefully that doesn't change. But so it's really far away from my everyday, and it really shifts the way my brain thinks. I love the idea of figuring something out, which is probably why I like marketing so much and testing, but I like the crime-based figure me out type of thing. And so I was really brought to this through the podcast series Serial. So if you haven't listened to the first season of that, you should definitely go and check it out. I was a huge fan. And so that really started. And so most recently, I was listening to a podcast on one of my drives about the Netflix podcast called You Can't Make This Up. And basically, they talk about all the different series that they have on Netflix. And so one was The Keepers. And if you haven't watched that, it's a very heavy show, not something that everyone is going to like for sure. But I watched that, so I was intrigued, and I was listening to the podcast, and they had some of the cast members talking and interviewing them, which they normally do on this podcast. And so they had one of them, and towards the end, this, like I said, it was a very heavy series on Netflix, and so they talked about, where her life is now. And she said something that really got me thinking. Because she said that every day she incorporates something into her day very intentionally. And it's that she incorporates something therapeutic, something productive, and something fun. And that immediately stuck with me. And it made me think, you know what? I could do that in my life very intentionally. Not saying I don't have those things in my life right now, but making very intentional decisions to make something to be one of those things. And it could be one thing or it could be three different things. It depends on the day and what's going on. But the way that my brain started thinking about it was if I'm really intentional with those decisions of what I want to do each day, I wonder if that would help with work-life balance. And so I challenged myself with this not because I'm stressed out because I work too much. I actually have a pretty good work-life balance the majority of the time. But I actually love working on my business, so I find myself wanting to work more, which then takes my mind away from whatever I'm doing with my family or friends or anything. But I really do think about work, and I attribute that to the fact that I love my job. I love what I do. It's very different from the work-life balance struggle that I had when I was in corporate world, where I felt like the to-do list was just never ending and it was stressful. I have a good stress now, but it's still a problem. It's a great problem to have, but something that I still work on. So I have challenged myself with intentionally making those decisions of creating and putting something in my day, something therapeutic, something productive, and something fun. And I would love to know what you think about this topic and just see, do you do this already? Can you identify things that you've already done in your life that go that route and follow that path? So I'm curious to see how everyone responds to this, and I'm excited to see what happens in my life as well. I've challenged myself with this, and I will be journaling about it, so I'm sure that this is not the last time you will hear about my process of what I'm going to do intentionally in my life. So I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and until next time, see you later.